Welcome to this introduction and explanation of musictheory.net. A lot of students have been wanting to learn more about music theory, and it's a wonderful site here that is free to be able to learn more about reading music. And as you can see, there's some lessons over here, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. But there are apps that have been developed called Theory Lessons and Tenuto. And the theory lessons in the app for iOS or Apple uh, relates to the lessons here. And the nice thing, let me just explain real quick, is that they're good for your iPad or for your um, iPhone. And it has really clear lessons and very colorful, and each sentence kind of gives you a little bit more of what the lesson's about, and they're for $2.99, so it's really worth it, and you can support uh, this musictheory.net. But also, they have Tenuto, which is exercises, and this correlates to this right here, which is free. But Tenuto is $3.99, and it's really colorful and has like the guitar look that you can see for, and bass as well, and you can even have ukulele, all those kind of things on here, as well as piano. And you can have challenge modes, customize each setting. I'm going to go over that in just a little bit, but it's really a good deal, and I would go ahead and pay for it to get it on your iPad or your iPhone. But it never hurts to be able to just go right away to the internet and to be able to get to lessons and exercises. It also has some tools here, which is calculators like accidental calculator, interval calculators, scale calculators, chord calculators. We'll be using this along the way. And over here under products, it just makes it so you can easily get to the theory lessons and Tenuto to be able to purchase them. Also, news kind of gives some updates of what's going on, and then you can get a hold of the people who make this musictheory.net and ask some questions, and they can be interactive with you. But let me go back to the lessons, and we have subheadings that are called the basics, and we're going to be doing this first, and then rhythm and meter, scales and key signatures, intervals, chords, diatonic chords, and chord progressions, and last is Neapolitan chords. So the nice thing is that it's organized very well, very spiral, so you learn the basic things first and then continue with that. And so let me show you how this looks. When you go to a lesson like the staff, clefs, and ledger lines, what you'll see is at the top it gives a diagram, and at the bottom it gives the lesson, and each sentence gives you a little bit more of the lesson. You can always go back to the home page by clicking this home here, and also on this side you can customize whether you want it to be American or British for terminology, or the piano sound to be modern or classic, or the displays as either images, which go one right after the other, or a slideshow. I tend to like this one. And over here's a little piano. The cool thing is that you always have access to a piano to be able um, to play different notes. And you can actually mark them if you want as well, so that you can see it and diagram that, and then you play them as well if you want, and then you can clear it. So that's kind of nice that you can always get back to that, have a piano to work with. So going back to the lesson, um, you have teaching here by sentences. So it says the staff is the foundation upon which notes are drawn, and then it explains that it is 5 lines and 4 spaces, and so you get to see it as you're going through down here. So each lesson coming up, I will go through these, and if you want to, you can go through them quickly by just this little scale at the bottom, or you can go through them one at a time by clicking down here, and it'll go through one at a time, or you could click actually on the next one with your mouse, and it'll explain things as you go. The next section we'll be using quite often is the exercises. Now when you click on that, you can go to tenuto, and it looks like this. The tenuto means that you play a note its full value, and that's how it got its name in this picture here. But we're going to not use that online, but go right to these below, and there are subheadings here as well as the lessons. You also have subheadings in the exercises. So you have staff identification, staff construction, you have keyboard identification, fretboard identification, ear training, and for teachers. And these are great to help implement what you're learning in your lessons, and to have exercises that I can be able to see how well you do and be able to give you feedback on that. So when you go into a lesson, let's go into note identification. It shows you a diagram up here, and you have to guess what that note is. You have to identify the note, and that's why this is called note identification right here. So first thing I want to tell you is what's up here at the top. You can always go back to the home screen here, or like I did, just go back one screen by just clicking the back button. But here it says how many how many you have got correct out of how many you've done. So what I'm going to do is go over here and reset the score so that it is 0, and I've gotten 0% correct. And there's a gear here where settings that you can customize all of this, and it has what clef you're supposed to set it at. And for each lesson, I will let you know what the settings should be. Like this is just the treble clef, and then you go to the range, and often we'll put the range from an E down here to an F up here. So you can change them by clicking on the arrows, or you can just grab them and put them where you want them to be. And then you want it to be usually lines and spaces, but you could have lines only or spaces only. And then you have key signature, and we can have any key signature we want. We're going to start with just the C key signature, which has no flats or no sharps. And then note names, you could have letters, you could have the scale degrees, you can have the solfege, that's like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then you have helpers, which look like this, that tells you what the actual notes are. And we're going to start with that, but you don't use that often, but that could really help. So if you turn that off, you don't see those there. So you can use helpers. We're going to keep accidentals off. Not that that matters too much right now because we don't have any flats or sharps, but we're going to keep that off, so we just have no flats or sharps, just naturals. And then you have a note filter, which says, you know, how many notes should we filter out? We could filter out almost all of them and only have 2 notes if we want to just decide between 2. And then we could also, the next question, usually after audio, but you could put immediately, or after you tap it or click it, or after the animation. And then the challenge mode, this would be great for homework where you have a time limit or you have a question limit. Like I'll say, I want you to do 20 questions in 2 minutes, and you'll be timed on it, and you can even have multiple attempts, or just do one. So this other one over here, the three dots, helps you reset the score, or you can show timer. Right here it'll say how long you've been at this page and working on it. You could also reveal an answer. So let's say you don't know that this is an E here, even though it says E right there. You can say reveal answer, and it'll say, oh, that's the correct answer there. If it's not correct, it'll be red. But if it's correct, it'll be green. And then another one, you could say, skip this question. I want to go to another one. I don't get that very well, and I'm on a time thing, so I want to go to the next one. You can show the web settings, and probably the one we'll use the most is you can show the progress report. So let's say I went through here and I got that. Oh, F sounds good. That is a C. Let me see. Oh, got that right. That's an F, but let's say I thought it was an A. Oop, I missed that one. So far I've only got 2 out of 3, and that let me try this one. Nope. How about that one? No, no, nope. What is that? Okay, I did get that. So out of 7, I only got 3, but that helps me get further along. So now, when you say show progress report, you need to sign in, and then once you put your name in there, you put sign report, and you can be able to print it and then email me this link so that I can look, and it'll say what you worked on. The exercise was the note identification. The score is 3 out of 7, which is 43%, and I skipped one. And the time it took me was 1 minute and 21 seconds. And these are the settings. It was the treble clef, lines in space, no key signature, or actually the key of C, which has no sharps or flats. That's what none means. And then letter names. Helpers were on, accidentals were off, filters off. Next question was after audio, and here was the range, and the challenge mode was off. So I get to see all of that, which lets me know what you've been working on and how well you did.